I am Groot. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Reign of Horror, and if you couldn't tell by the poster or my first line, I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy. And going into this movie, I had mixed feelings. On the one hand, it's a Marvel movie starring a gun-blazing raccoon, Vin Diesel the Tree, and Dave Bautista. On the other hand, it's a Marvel movie starring a gun-blazing raccoon, Vin Diesel the Tree, and Dave Bautista. Needless to say, I was mixed on every decision. It sounded both awesome and terribly confusing. So, they could easily fuck this up, but if you want to know the short version, it's a great movie. It's funny, it has great characters, and it's action-packed with a lot of good action. All in all, it's a very good movie. That's the short version of the story. So if you just wanted my opinion, there you go. Now let's get into spoiler territory. When I first started watching the movie, I was a bit confused from the start, because it opens with this little boy listening to, I don't know, it's a Walkman? I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm not quite sure what kind of device it is, but it plays cassette tapes with music. That's all I know. Anyway, it opens in a hospital with this kid, and he gets told that his mother wants to see him, and the mother is a cancer patient, from what I can tell, with no hair, lying in a hospital bed about to die. He gets scarred by watching her in her final moments and watching her die, and he runs out. Then he's captured by a spaceship. Cut to 26 years later. He is now wearing the same boy is now wearing a mask with very red eyes. Sorry, I'm just sweating a little bit. Walking through an ancient temple, listening to that same cassette tape, though to a different song this time. I'm not sure what the song is. I don't remember what the song was, but he just goes around dancing to the music and singing into rats. Really weird. Anyway, he captures a specific orb, and then he's immediately attacked by a lot of goons who wants it for someone they call Ronan. Anyway, he runs off. He has a big chase with a spaceship, and then, which is a very nice opening scene introducing our main character, our first main character, might I add. His name is Peter Quill, also known as the Star-Lord. That's how we're introduced to him. And from first glance, he looks like, you know, your everyday human male from the 80s, I suppose. I'm not quite sure, I wasn't born during the 80s. Anyway, or your everyday human, I suppose. Next, we're introduced to our second main character, who actually works for the bad guy Ronan, or sort of bad guy. I'll get to that. She's a green-skinned woman with some very large hair, with some very large black hair. Basically, a human female with green skin and some lines around her face. And she's along with this blue girl who is also humanoid, only no hair and more metal plating around her face. And blue. Or did I say that? Anyway, and then we meet our villain, Ronan, who is also blue skin. He has a lot of cloaks on him and some very sketchy black lines on his face. If I'm gonna be honest, they don't look good. if they're supposed to try to be making him intimidating, it doesn't work. He looks too. I'm not sure how to put it. Dirty, maybe. It just looks weird. That's really all I can say about it. He looks weird and not really intimidating as a villain. Which is why he's not technically the villain. He's the villain of the movie, but in terms of the whole thing, he has a boss. Thanos. Who looks a lot more powerful. And especially with the fact that apparently he has the power to destroy planets. Not even needing our plot device, which is this orb. Anyway, let's move on to characters, because on the next on the planet where where the Star-Lord is trying to sell this, we're introduced to two of our other main characters. We have our gun-blazing raccoon, Rocket, who seems to be the mouthpiece of a duo consisting of him and Vin Diesel the Tree. They call him Groot, only because of the fact that he can't talk other than 3 words. Technically 4, but I won't spoil that one. But mostly his dialogue in the movie is, "I am Groot." Anyway, we see them spying on a few people, looking for bounties, because apparently they're bounty hunters. By the way, it also makes a way for an interesting Stan Lee cameo. After all, Stan Lee has to be in every Marvel movie, and he has another cameo here where he's one of the people they're searching. I don't remember exactly what the raccoon said, but I remember laughing at it. Anyway, they find out that he has a 4,000 units bounty on him because he promised to deliver the orb to his former boss, to a boss of his called Vorshov. I don't remember his name. All I know is that he has a needle. He's a blue-skinned guy with a needle that can pierce anything. Anyway, he tries to deliver it to a collector. However, when he hears the name Ronan, he wants nothing to do with it. It shocks him up. Then we see Gamora, I believe her name was, the green-skinned girl, trying to steal it. Trying to steal it. Then when Star-Lord gives chase, we get up. They start fighting. She tries to kill him, and then our bounty hunters come in and tries to stop it because they want the bounty. And because of all the damaging they're doing, they're all taken into prison. In prison, we learn that we find our last member of our team. We have Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista. That was one of the selling points for me about this movie. As you might know, I'm a former wrestling fan. I don't watch it anymore. But Bautista was always one of my favorites because he can be hilarious and awesome at the same time whether he's in the ring or just on a mic. So I was happy to see him, and I can tell you he's a great character. Basically, his story is that Ronan killed his wife and daughter, and he is seeking revenge. And when he finds Gamora, who worked for Ronan, he wants to kill her. However, Star-Lord convinces him to not kill her and wait for Ronan to show up. But they soon decide to just leave prison to sell the orb to a collector who will pay them 4 billion units. which takes Groot and Rocket off the idea of collecting a bounty on the Star-Lord. Next, well, they break out of prison, bringing Drax along as muscle. So now we have our 5 main characters: Star-Lord, Rocket, Gamora, Groot, and Drax. They all head to a so now that we have assembled all the characters, I want to give my I can give my opinion on them, how they were introduced, and how they are as characters. Like I said, Star-Lord, basically a generic, he's the generic hero of the story, adventurer if you want. Nothing wrong with that. It's just an observation. Rocket is a very hard-headed and impatient guy. I think he might have been. I'm not sure if he was something else before he became a raccoon, or if he has been a raccoon all his life. But it sounded like he was something else. Groot is Groot. He's an awesome character for not, even though he doesn't have any dialogue. He has a lot of funny and awesome facial expressions, a lot of great powers around him. He's just a likable character. Gamora is a shifting character, but he's an overall strong and she doesn't really get on your nerves. Drax is powerful, he's strong, he can be funny, and, well, honestly, I would say that he's just Batista with a revenge plot in hand. That's not a bad thing, though, because I like Batista. But, where do I go with? By the way, I wanna talk about something else. They get to after they get out of prison, they go to another collector who's going to pay this money, and he is the weirdest. He's probably the weirdest character in the entire movie. He has this white fur coat with this ridiculous hair, weird glasses. And he's apparently a very weird collector because he has a dog in a spacesuit. His former assistant, which is a pink-skinned girl, trapped in a glass case, and a white-skinned person locked in another cage. And in a post-credit scene, which, what the hell? It doesn't really impact the story. And I told you about spoilers. After his place gets blown up because his assistant tries to steal what's inside the orb, which I'm going to talk about in a second. His whole place blows up and all his things escape. In a post-credit scene, we see him in the ruins of this. We see the dog in the spacesuit starts to lick him, and then we cut to Howard the Duck, which I'm sure only Marvel fans will understand who is. I only know about him because I'm one of the few unfortunate people who have seen the Howard the Duck movie. Good grief, that was terrible. But let's just put this. Let's just put it like that. It's a very weird cameo, and it kind of fits out of place unless they have plans for Howard the Duck. Which, honestly, I would be happy if they don't, because I really don't want to see anything of Howard the Duck after that terrible piece of shit movie. Anyway, where was I going? Oh yeah. Now, inside the orb is an Infinity Stone, which apparently has the power to destroy a planet. Something that Ronan is obsessed with doing, destroying a planet known as Zerax, I believe was the name. I am not quite sure. I don't think I remember why, but hell, it's a powerful stone. But you need to be extremely powerful to even use it, because if you just grab it and you're weak, you get disintegrated and destroyed alongside anything you're around. Which that assistant, which is which that weird collector with the pink collector assistant demonstrates when she tries to touch the stone. Or touches the stone, actually. She can touch it, and then she disintegrates. Anyway, Ronan makes it to the collector. Drax, because Drax actually contacts him and asks him to come because he wants to face him head to head. And Drax gets his ass kicked. And they lose the stone. And, well, Ronan decides to turn on Thanos. Because he now has the stone. So after he has destroyed Zerax, he's gonna come for. He destroys Zerax. He's gonna come for Thanos. This causes Star-Lord to turn himself into his former boss. Who helps him and Gamora survive, and then he manages to convince him to join his side to fight Ronan. And he also convinces the people on Zerax to help him out. It's an all-out battle to protect Zerax and destroy Ronan. I guess most of you can figure out what happens at the end, but so I won't go into too much more detail. All I can say is that it's a very nice movie, and it has great characters. It has a very interesting cast. I mean, as I said, you have Dave Bautista. Groot is played by Vin Diesel. I believe the name of the guy who plays Rocket is Bradley Cooper, if any of you know who that is. I don't. One of the people on the security force on Zerax is played by John C. Reilly. Who else could I put here? Well, I guess I couldn't. Well, I believe the leader of the planet of Zerax is called. No, the leader of the Zerax planet is played by someone called Glenn Close, which I've heard the name of, but I'm not sure if I remember who she is. I don't remember the actor who plays Gamora or Star-Lord. I don't know who plays Thanos, Ronan, or whoever that blue chick was. But yeah, if you even listen to this, I would if you still haven't, I would suggest go watch the movie. And if for nothing else, you'll have a fun time. You'll have a fun time watching a lot of Groot's interesting powers. That alone makes it enough for me to at least appreciate the movie's effects. Because while it's a lot of CG, it's not terrible. I can say that. But but like I said, for nothing else, you'll at least enjoy the visuals. If you don't find anything else enjoyable, which I don't really see how you can't, but if you don't, at least you have the visuals. If that's not your thing, then, oh well, at least you've seen it. Which I highly which I hope you do, because I'm hoping this movie gets a sequel, which I think they're planning on. Anyway, that's all I got. I'll see you later when I find another movie or another topic I want to speak about. Good night.